Hello, YouTube viewers. This is Collector 513 with a collection video of my video games. This is going to be a very big and long video. I'm going to split it up, actually. I'm going to split it up into different parts because this is my horror collection of all my horror games and games with horror elements. I have a lot. I have over 200 of these games. A lot. A lot. The video games that have horror elements or a horror character or something horrific in the game, but it is not a horror game, I will let you know and I will explain to you why that game is not considered a horror game, but it has horror elements. I have 200 games to get through. I have horror games on all their Sony consoles and handhelds. Xbox, Nintendo. I have a lot. A lot to get through. Sega. I have a lot to get through. Let's get started. I don't want to talk your heads off. And these are in alphabetical order. Akuji the Heartless. This is not a horror game. This has horror in it. If you ever played it or do remember, it's got horror elements in it. The blood sacrifice fire. Crypt Killer. This has monsters and skeletons and the things that you fight. It is a light gun shooter game. This is what Crypt Killer looks like for those in acid gun to use. For those who are curious, this is a pure horror game. Dino Crisis. Dino Crisis 2. Fear Effect. This is a horror game. I did an extensive research on all these titles, making sure they were horror titles or had horror in it. Fear Effect 2, Retro Helix. Heart of Darkness. Nightmare Creatures. Parasite Eve, the very first one. Parasite Eve 2. Now, these first two are considered horror games. I looked them up. But the third birthday for PSP, the third Parasite game I do own, I do have it, I did play it. It did not feel like a horror game. It felt more like an action-oriented game. Should I still... I looked it up and I said nothing about a horror, nothing. It said the first two games had horror elements in it, but that one didn't. So I didn't include it. Resident Evil, the very first one for PS1. Resident Evil Director's Cut. This has Resident Evil 2 demo. Resident Evil Director's Cut DualShock. The DualShock version. Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Resident Evil Survivor. And last but not least, for the PS1 horror game collection, Silent Hill. I wasn't a fan of that too much. Everybody liked it, but I didn't care for it. Now, moving on to PS2. PS2 horror games. This first set here are 100% pure horror games. These are horror games to the max. Clock Tower 3. Cold Fear. Constantine. For those in question, that's what it looks like, and that's why it's a horror game. Dark Watch. Echo Knight Beyond. I was not a fan of this. This game was very, very, very boring. Very boring. I hated the game. Fatal Frame. Fatal Frame 2. Crimson Butterfly. Fatal Frame 3. They're Tormented. Haunting Ground. I need Manhunt 1. Manhunt 2. I do plan to get Manhunt 1. That is why I will not show my PS2 collection, because there are a lot of games that I want to get, so that I can show you all my collection with full sets of games. You know, having all the games to a set. Resident Evil Code Veronica X. For example, all the Star Wars games, all the Harry Potter games. You know, that's what I mean. I'm waiting to complete a lot of sets for my PS2 collection before I show you all my PS4 or PS2 collection. I do have about 500 games on the PS2. I have a lot of games as we talk. I have a lot. I've been buying a lot. Resident Evil Dead Aim. Resident Evil Outbreak. Resident Evil Outbreak File 2. Resident Evil 4. Silent Hill 2, the Black Label. There's a reason why I bought both of these. There's a reason. The regular Black Label version here looks like this. Okay? Because I'm not a greatest hits guy. I do not. That's what this looks like. It has James. Yeah. Now, that's a Black Label Silent Hill 2. Now we have the Greatest Hits Silent Hill 2. Now, this one is different. This one comes with this. Not 5, yeah. Silent Hill 3. That's a custom case I made. I have to rebuy the case. This is part of what I need to do for my PS2 games before showing my video. So this is part of what I need to do. Actually, let me show you all the custom what I did. This is what I did as a teenager. This is what I did. So I did all this. I made all this. I made that. And the disc is, the disc. Trying to open this. Very tough case. I found one for $100 online. The case and booklet only because I'm a CIB guy. So I'm going to buy that. I'm going to go ahead and buy that. Buy that case and the book so that way I can have the case and the book for that and swing it on in that disc and have a complete set. Silent Hill 3. It is about $100. It's over $100. It is very expensive. Silent Hill 4, The Room. I wish I was making money from YouTube, and therefore I could buy it with no problem. That'd be nice. Silent Hill Origins. Silent Hill Shatter Memories. Siren. The Thing. This was a really good movie. And last but not least, for the PS2, actual horror games, Van Helsing. Alright, now I want to show you all the games with horror elements, and I will explain why these are not considered horror games and what makes them horror elemented video games with horror things in it. So these are PS2 games. By the way, these are PS2, and they are in alphabetical order, starting with Blood Rain. This is not a horror game because you can fully control or do cool combos and shoot with guns, so it's not a horror game. But you play as her. She is a vampire. For those who don't know, she is vampire, half human. There's a Blood Rain. Blood Rain 2. The same thing. Alright. Devil May Cry. We all know Dante there is a demon. That's not a... It doesn't make this a horror game at all, but he is a horrific character. Yes, he is a demon. A devil demon. And following, and these are all his games. Devil May Cry 2. Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening Special Edition. This is what the Special Edition has on it. And last but not least for the Devil May Cry games, the black label of Devil May Cry 3. Alright, Ghost Hunter. This game is not a horror game, but he fights horrific creatures. And he has an arsenal of guns and stuff, things he uses. So it's not an actual horror game. It doesn't scare you. Neither is this, Hunter the Reckoning. It has a dark setting, dark, horrific setting. You fight horror creatures, horror monsters, but it's a tabletop multiplayer game. It is really, really fun playing with your friends. Really fun. Alright, everybody knows about this. Everybody. Onimusha. These are not horror games, but they are horror. They have horror elements. You fight demons. There's one right there. Yeah, you can fight demons. So yeah. Same with this. Onimusha 2. Onimusha 3. What does that say? Demon Siege. That's why these have horror elements in it. And the last, Onimusha Dawn of Dreams. I have all the Onimusha games. I love them. Alright. This is another one. Has horror themes in it. Return to Castle Wolfenstein. And last but not least, for the games, the horror games, or the games with horror elements for PS2, Primal. She's a demon. She's a demon. There she goes. Yeah, this game has horror things in it, but it's not a horror game. Alright, moving on to PS3. Just sharing my PS3 horror collection. Alright. Starting with Alone in the Dark, Inferno for PS3. Oh, sorry about that. Clay Barker Jericho. Dead Island. Dead Island Riptide Special Edition. Escape Dead Island. Fear. The first encounter of Soul Deep Recon. I need to get Dead Space. I need to get the rest of the Dead Space games on PS3 so I can have them all. I need all the rest of them. Deadly Premonition. Resident Evil 0. Resident Evil HD Remaster. Resident Evil 8 Chronicles HD Collection. It says Umbrella and Dark Side Chronicles on it. Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. Resident Evil Revival Selection. It has Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil Code Veronica. Resident Evil Revelations. Resident Evil 5. Resident Evil Gold Edition. For those wondering what comes on the Gold Edition, here you go. Resident Evil Revelations 2. Resident Evil 6. Resident Evil 6 Anthology. Saw. Saw 2 Flesh and Blood. Silent Hill HD Collection. I'm surprised this isn't expensive because it has these two Silent Hills on it. Just always wonder why this doesn't go for a banging price. Makes me a little mad that I don't have anything valuable. Sucks. Silent Hill Homecoming. Silent Hill Downpour. The Last of Us. The Walking Dead. Survival Instinct. The Walking Dead. And this one comes with 400 days. It's the DLC. And last but not least for the PS3 horror games, The Walking Dead Season 2. Now, I will show you all the PS3 horror games with horror elements. Just like I did PS2. I would do these. I'm doing the same thing with these as well. Starting with Bayonetta. She's a witch. She's a witch. Fighting demons and angels. So yeah. Very horrific element. But it's not a horror game. BioShock 1. 2 and 3 I will not show because 1 I feel had the creepiest environment. It did. Dead Rising 2. Again, this isn't a horror game, but he's fighting zombies with created weapons. Again, focuses more on you creating weapons to kill the zombies with. You can even run them over. Dead Rising 2. off the record. Again, killing zombies with created weapons. Devil May Cry 4. Again, you play as demons, devils. Ghostbusters, a video game. Play as these guys here, the Ghostbusters, and they are in perfect control of what they can do. So this isn't a horror game, but it has horror elements because they hunt ghosts. And ghosts are horrific. A lollipop chainsaw. She isn't. This isn't a horror game, but she does kill with her chainsaw. The darkness. He uses demons to help him fight. So this is not a horror game, but it has horror elements in it. And last but not least, for PS3, The Darkness 2. Done with PS3. Now we're going to do PS4. PS4 horror games. Now I don't have these split up like I did PS2 and PS3. With the games with horror elements, I have them mixed up. But if I run across a game like that has horror elements that's not a horror game, I will tell you gladly. This game here I researched, it is a horror game. A Plague Tale, in essence. Alien Isolation. Dead Rising 4. Frank's Big Package. This here is not a horror game, but you beat up tons of zombies. Not a horror game. It's considered an action hack and slash. That's what they consider that. Dying Light. This is a horror game. You are going against zombies and other things. Onimusha. I've already explained why this. Yeah, because you fight demons. Resident Evil Origins Collection. Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 Deluxe. Resident Evil 3. Resident Evil Code Veronica X. Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 Remake. The Resident Evil 4 Remake Gold Edition. Resident Evil 5. Resident Evil 6. Resident Evil 7. Biohazard. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard Gold Edition. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard Deluxe Edition. Resident Evil 8 Village. Resident Evil 8 Village Deluxe Edition. Resident Evil 8 Village Gold Edition. Resident Evil Revelations. Resident Evil Revelations 2. And last but not least, with the Resident Evil games on PS4, Umbrella Corps. So, the Dark Pictures anthology, Man of Medan. The Dark Pictures anthology, Little Hope. The Dark Pictures anthology, House of Ashes. The Evil Within. The Evil Within 2. The Inpatient. The Order 1886. The Walking Dead. This comes with the 400 days, just like the PS3 version did. The Walking Dead Season 2. The Walking Dead A New Frontier. The Walking Dead The Final Season. Until Dawn. And last but not least, for PS4 horror games, all of the PS4 in general. I'm done with this completely. Visage. Now moving on to PS5 horror games for PS5. Just recently beat all these a few months ago. I'm a platinum guy, and yes, I 100% all of these games except the Resident Evil games We'll show you which Resident Evil ones I'm working on currently. I don't know how to say this. I don't want to chop it up. I don't know if it's Ick or Ike. You know, I have no idea. Well, Resident Evil 2 Remake. Resident Evil 2 Remake Deluxe Edition. Resident Evil 3. Resident Evil 4 Remake. Resident Evil 4 Remake Gold Edition. This is what I'm currently playing to get a Platinum 1. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard Gold Edition. This is supposed to be the deluxe edition. I got this custom made, and he ended up putting Gold Edition on there. So now I have two copies of the same game. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard Gold Edition. It's supposed to be deluxe. Resident Evil 8 Village. Resident Evil 8 Village Gold Edition. Resident Evil 8 Village Deluxe Edition. The Dark Pictures Anthology. The Devil in Me. The Quarry. Tormented Souls. For those wondering, this girl was butt naked at the beginning of the game. Like, it was so random. It was random. I had no idea. Let's see if I can get some. There she goes. Yeah, this game reminds you so much of old school horror games. It really does. And last but not least, for the PS5, Silent Hill 2. Yeah, platinum all these. Think about doing the platinum video to show my platinums. Alright. Where is that at? Where is it? There we go.